Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
We're inviting
Hello.
you to, we have our t-shirts and inviting you to be the generative change.
Hello, Robert. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Mohammed. Hello,
Oh,
Kathleen. Hello,
thank you. Oh, thank you.
I
Oh.
just joined and I saw black t-shirt with
with Be the Change.
what an advertising support.
It's a great anchor for all of us. It was done through the Generative Consulting training in 2018, and that was one of the anchor we got from the training. So as it is the last day.
Jeff, maybe we can, if we can stop sharing and go to gallery view, we can see everybody for just a moment. I'd be happy.
Sure.
Ah, there they are.
Oh, very good.
Very good. Yes. Be the generative change.
We know we are at the right place.
Yes.
Just in case you didn't know.
Hello, hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, welcome. Welcome.
Welcome.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
From Guadeloupe.
We have someone from the IAGC tonight.
Yes,
Good evening, Vanessa. Good to see you.
Hello, Vanessa. Wow.
So, if you don't know Vanessa, she's the one really organizing the International Association for Generative Change. And if you want to be part of that movement, and this is the person to go to. And yeah, she's awesome.
She is awesome. I agree. And for many of us, if you've done any of the SFM certifications, and even if you've done any of the SFM certifications, you qualify for a professional member in generative business. But even if you've done like the mindset map training or something, you can be an associate member. So IGC is it's a really a fantastic community that is co-supporting SFM. So
yeah, and just
so welcome, Vanessa.
Yeah, we had a blast during the last conference of IAGC in May, and it was really 220 people together. That was really an awesome moment. So yeah, congratulations.
And yes, and hello, Jehan. I know you've been through a lot of challenges recently, and welcome to being here with us.
Thank you, Robert. I'm happy I'm with you. I'm sorry I couldn't join yesterday and the day before, but I can watch the recorded sessions, and I'm happy to be with you. It's with you that I continue to grow. Thank you all.
What is associative member of IGC? IAGC?
So an associate member means that you are able to enter into the membership area, and you have many of the privileges that a professional member has. Professional members can do more posting and sharing, but associate members get access to articles, videos, generative conversations, a lot of things that are happening between professional members in IAGC. So it's like a kind of like a junior membership. And anything you would add to that, Vanessa?
Oh, I was listening to you, but like what you just said. Yeah, more information to come soon about all this. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We have a new website that we're actually, after this meeting here, we're going to go to a IAGC meeting where there's a new website that's coming, and it's and in terms of the SFM meta community, which Elisabeth is head of, there is big connections between like the success factor modeling and our venture circles and the International Association for Generative Change.
So I suggest we start. It's already 5 past 8. So let's go, guys, and let's move on and So welcome everybody. We are with Elisabeth super happy to have you, especially as brave you are on a Friday night. For some of you, it's really a challenge to be here. So thank you for spending this moment with us. This is really awesome that we can share that with all of you. So we are going tonight to talk to you about how to best manage transition in business according to chapter 4 in the Generative Consulting book. So I had the pleasure to write and co-write that chapter with Elisabeth. Today we are going to have two moments, basically. One moment where I'm about to share with you an example of how I use generative consulting in my own practice. And then Elisabeth is going to share with you how she's using generative consulting in her own practice, having in mind that what we want to share with you, our promise for you tonight, is really to model how we use the use of multiple intelligence in our approach. So this is basically our red thread for tonight. It's about how can you also use multiple intelligences in transition for your clients or for yourself. So basically, first, I'd like to set the frame. A great frame that we have to have in mind is that 70% of all change initiatives fail. I'm not saying that, it's the Harvard Business Review. So we have to be aware that there are some issues around transition management, change management. And we, as generative consultant, can really not be the solution, even if we want to be the change. We cannot be the solution, but we can provide, I think, some improvement in the way change management is set. So first, we would like to set a frame around where do we come from. We come from, in transition, from the position of we need collective intelligence in transition, because the head of the organization usually is already ahead of the change. They own the vision, they own the mission, and if they do that by themselves, they won't be followed by the organization. So it's really a movement of collective intelligence. And this is where collective intelligence in the SFM2 model sets four outcomes. Collective intelligence model, SFM2 collective intelligence model, provide enhanced performance, provide also creative solutions, new ideas, and wise decisions. So we want to bring our clients to that kind of outcome, because if they call us, it is probably and mainly regarding these aspects, because as a generative consultant, transitions calls you to have high skills in facilitation, presentation, and communication. These are the three skills that we need to own to really manage transition as a generative consultant.
Jean-Francois, I'm only seeing the first slide. That I don't know if everybody else. I only see the slide that says generative consulting and how to best manage. Were there other slides we're supposed to see?
Sure, I'm already on slide 3. How
no.
Can you?
I only saw. I see the first slide, chapter 4. It says, but I.
Everybody is on the first slide.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, thank you for.
Yes.
So what is happening? Let me check.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Is it better this way?
Now I see the second. I see a different one. Cracking
so
the code
I was on my own and talking about collective intelligence.
We were listening to you.
But that's why we have others of us to say, oh, wait a minute.
So I was talking about the 70% from the Harvard Business Review, and I was talking about the SFM2 model regarding collective intelligence. And this is where in a VUCA world, we say volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. we need collective intelligence to really lift the change that we want to see happen in organizations. And as generative consultant, we use multiple intelligences. That's really how we also differentiate ourselves. So first, we would like you, as fast as you can, in the chat box, so be ready, in 1 minute to really share what types of intelligences do you know of. Please type in the chat box, what are the kind of intelligences? When we say multiple intelligences, what are we talking about? So please share them with us in the chat box. What are the ones you know? Artistic, says Catherine. Yeah. Somatic, Robert, super. Emotional, spiritual, said Ed. Jehan, somatic, cognitive. Business intelligence, I like that. Emotional, Vanessa. Jehan, emotional. Robert, metaphorical. Yeah. What else? Relational. Robert, you should be teaching that, right? Rational intelligence. Right. One more. Leadership intelligence. Interesting. Cognitive intelligence. Heart intelligence. Yes. By being a generative consultant, you call upon multiple intelligences. And I would like to share with you a few frames around these intelligences. And during the time I'm sharing with you some of these intelligences, I would like you to rate yourself on the ones you are at ease with and the one you are not so at ease, because we are going to see that how do we practice these intelligences with our clients. The more you are at ease with these intelligences, the more you can use them with your clients. And the less you are at ease with these intelligences, the less you want to use them, even though they might be interesting in the process of transition management. So just when I'm sharing with you some of them, and I will share a case study, I was called from an organization that wanted to manage transition in health and safety at work. And they wanted me to help them create more safety and more health in their organization. And so we created a group and a seminar where the intention was really to involve the organization as to how to move towards more health and more safety in the organization. And this is where we wanted to go. First, I use cognitive intelligence by setting the levels. They have success factors. I'm sorry, it's in French because it was a French company. Actually Swedish, but in France. So we used the scorecard model that you may know from Robert, and I set with them the different success factor they had in mind to know that that process of transition would be successful. So from there, you see this is a cognitive tool. But from a generative consultant perspective, you can go from a flip chart into a line on the floor. And so when I asked regarding each success factor, when I asked the group to move on the line, because each line was a success factor, and I asked the group to rate the level of success they were having in the present state, that was already using somatic intelligence, because they were moving on the line of a success factor and they could see each other. So it was also relational intelligence. They could see that some of them would rate where they were at 2, while others were rating at 8 or 7. So we can make any cognitive tool into a somatic or another intelligence. And this is where, as a generative consultant, we need to be flexible with our tools and how we can transform them into another intelligence. So during that seminar, I used also metaphorical intelligence, because it was also not just talk about where we want to go, it's also draw where you want to be. So as you see in the background of the drawing, they say 0 accident. And that was the goal. And that drawing became the logo of the full transition management process. So this is where we use visuals and we use metaphorical intelligence. And you can see there is a small drawing from a cartoon, a movie that you may know, Despicable Me. It's a mignon. Because at one stage, what was not in the success factors when we were using cognitive intelligence, they came up with the idea we have to make health and safety fun. And using cognitive intelligence, they had not that in mind. But when they came up with that tool, with that drawing, that image in mind, they even brought a mignon to the seminar. As you can see, this is the chief of safety and health in the company. And he came with that saying, I want safety and I want health to be fun for our organization. So that was another way to use metaphorical intelligence. Then you may want to see, this is the CEO at the bottom. He is the CEO. And I asked the group to say, what is it like in your organization to work on health and safety? And he was like, relaxed. And the other person was like, I don't have time. It's not one of my priorities. And that was really interesting, that just not talking about safety and health in the organization, but really asking them to show me what it's like in their organization, and others in the group being able to see the CEO doing that, they really had some insights around what was needed to be done. Especially,
I didn't know if you were still home or not.
Oh, you may want to close your mic if you have to keep the experience of sound. And look, this is really the best moment for me. This is systemic intelligence. Look, this is the chief of health and safety in the organizations, and he's showing the direction. And look where everybody else is watching. Everybody is alone in the group. And I was using systemic, like somatic and systemic intelligence in the process. And it was like, this is where we need to go. This is where we need to go. And the others were talking together and just watching like, what do you mean? How is it? So we really felt in the field, this is also an intelligence, field intelligence. We felt how safety and health at work in this organization was outside of the main priorities. And it was a great way to really set the frame. If it's not a priority, we have to make it a priority if we want to have better health and better safety in the organization. So cognitive intelligence, somatic intelligence, visual intelligence, metaphorical intelligence, systemic intelligence are the ways we can use in generative consulting. And this is how you get your client to see the value of generative consulting. If you want to work with client with generative consulting, it's all about how you get them involved. And first, you have to know that their limits, when you say they won't understand, they won't want to use somatic intelligence, their limits are often our limits. This is key. At one stage, I was working with governors in my county, and I wanted them to take their tie off, because I wanted to create another experience. And I was like, they can't take their tie off. It's part of their everyday, the way they wear their clothes. And I saw how it was a limit that I had, not their limit. So I worked on it. Then talk about your generative approach. Be known for your generative approach so your client can choose you consciously. When I see my client, they know I am different. If we want to be generative, it's about creating something that wasn't there before. And they know that calling Jean-Francois, we have something different, and people want that. Of course, there are people that don't want that. They want more like McKinsey or other consulting companies. But with Jean-Francois, he is doing something others don't. So if you want to really use that generative intelligence, be known for that so client can choose you consciously. Then it's really easy at the beginning when you use multiple intelligences that people laugh or people get into resistance. They talk, they don't involve themselves in that kind of experience. And it's really, for me, a practice to trust the process and to move through the threshold of that moment where I feel like, they're not in it. And in my mind, I just say, wait, trust the process. Another thing is that you won't be able to onboard everybody first. So find early adopters, and you early adopters are your client. Probably the person that does make the decision to hire you. He has to be aware that he's choosing you and that your way of doing consulting is generative, that you use multiple intelligences. So find early adopters, find your guardians, as we say today, the ones that will support your work and that understand the value of multiple intelligence approach. And then another way to involve your client in that kind of process, they are already using multiple intelligences. Like they say, I see, they say, I feel. So it's already using different intelligence. They go visuals with a logo. That's another way, because I can talk about Nike, I can talk about Starbucks, but if I show the picture of Nike as Starbucks, it's even more powerful. So show them how they are using these processes already. Like emoticons, it's also another way. I can talk about my emotions, but when I'm drawing an emoticons, I'm already using visual intelligence to express myself. So these are how I use multiple intelligences in transition management with my clients. And I think you will also like to hear how Elisabeth is doing that in her own process.
Thank you, Jean-Francois. I will share my screen. Do you see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I will share with you a case study using this multiple intelligence, using the diamond model and the specific tool, the PeriSeo tool, the team profile PeriSeo. This case study is the one of the Food, Agriculture and Forestry Direction of French Guiana. It's a decentralized service of the Ministry of Agriculture, and it's a fusion which was done in 2011. This case was about 100 people over a period of 1 year and with local partner. Do you see the, yes. I will share with you, yes?
Yes.
I will share with you what was the symptoms of this agriculture direction while using the diamond model. And the first step, the 7th step, sorry. The first step was about defining the present state. And this organization was on a transitional situation with the loss of identity, a loss of meaning, no common vision, demotivation, a lack of communication, of connections, and it was in a very difficult social context, a conflictual social context. The second step was about setting intention. And the desired state was to work better together, to improve collective performance, collective intelligence, to change the strategy for contributing to the development of the territory and to the well-being. The third step was about action planning, and several actions emerged. It was about bring out a vision with the management committee, about listen to the various stakeholders in order to identify their need and to involve as many collaborators as possible. Then it was about moving to action, and different processes of collective intelligence were applied. We had some training on collective intelligence, and to listen to the collaborators, we used an open space technology, and this allowed people to involve themselves in different projects. The fifth step was about transformate obstacles, and some process of collective intelligence and group sponsorship made it possible. They increased communication, connection between teams, and they reduced the tensions due to the social conflict. Then it was about noting progress, and I will speak to you a little more about the PeriCO2 profile. Team profile, sorry. This was after a few months after the beginning. And after that, it was about deepening practices, and some practices were organized to support and deepen the change as coach state, intervision groups, scorecards, sorry for the... And we used key factors for readjustment and a guardian system with respect to commitments. And of course, generative mastermind group process. More specifically for the PeriCO team profile, the goal is to be aware of the level of collective intelligence present in their team. And for that, we bring together our left and right brains to access more generativity. This team profile allows to measure the level of collective intelligence, to raise awareness among the people present because they start to communicate with each other, and it allows to bring out innovative solutions. It's a tool which highlights dysfunctional areas, which moves from the implicit to the explicit, and which brings out strategic axes. How is it constructed? Sorry. It's based on the pyramid of Roberts, of course, and we use key factors of collective intelligence. We have between 4 and 7 key factors by level, and we have 30 factors for the world. Here you have some examples from of these key factors, and I will invite you as a coach or consultant to think about maybe one of them. You can see 2 for vision, 2 for identity, and 2 for values as example. You can take one of them and start to think about a team you accompany, or a team you belong to, or an organization you belong to. And how do we use this tool? For each level and for each K factor of this logical level, each member of a team will have the possibility to evaluate the level of collective intelligence from a quotation you can see here. 1 + 1 = -1. This is degenerativity. To 1 + 1 = 3. This is collective intelligence. And you have the possibility by using the tool to put your quotation. It's a digital tool. And once all the participants have entered their evaluation, it's more perception than an evaluation, you can generate a team profile. And you get a 30 pages document. Here you can see some flyer, some extract of the profile, some presentations. This is the first level where you can see the overall perception of the people present. And this is, how can I say, it's an average of all the people which participate to the evaluation. It's a global results. So you have a first level of perception for each level of the pyramid. And for each level here, you have all the key factors. At a second level, if you can see here, you have the vision, and I give you here the details of the key factors. Here for the vision, we have 5 key factors. And for each of these key factors, you have the average of the people which participated. And for each of the key factors, you have some proposals of the possible causes and some improvement tracks. So as a facilitator or as a consultant, maybe at this moment, you have in these tools some way to explore. And at a third level, you have the details of all the team members which participates to the tool. And this is really where your role as a facilitator is very important, because at this moment you will allow this participant to share their representations. They will become aware that they don't have the same representations. They will become aware to their diversity. And sometimes one of them didn't realize that other people could think and perceive differently. And yes, that's right. The main part of your role will start here. And even, you will have to create this container of safety. You will have to allow people to speak with each other. Sometimes it's very easy and sometimes it's very difficult, because at this moment they meet in their differences. They start to understand each other. What is it? It's very important. It's not because it is a digital tool that you don't have to allow people to move. You can be with the participants and you can be online. In these both cases, you can send them some files of the level of the pyramid. You can invite them to put these files on the floor, for example, and to walk from the vision to identity, to values and beliefs. And the same thing for each level. And it's very useful because sometimes it's difficult. People are very stuck in their cognitive intelligence. And if they start to ask some questions to themselves or to become too cognitive, you'll have to invite them to move and to reconnect to their somatic and emotional intelligence, and to feel confident in their intuition, in their perception. So the coach state also, it's a way to reconnect to the emotional intelligence. Well, this was for the team profile Periseo, which find its place in the process of accompanying this case study. And it was very useful to find some strategic axes to move in action. So I don't know if you have now some questions for us, either for this part or for Jean-Francois. One.
And while you are coming up with your questions, maybe we would like to just give you a few information if you want to go further. Just know, and that's great that Vanessa is here. We have an IAGC, so an International Association for Generative Change conference happening in April 2021. And this is the place to be if you want to be part of the generative change movement, where all presenters share their own experience of generative change in education, generative change in business, generative change, generative trends, generative coaching. So if you want, put a mark in your agenda, April. You will know more about the right date and when it's set, but it's around April 2021. And we also want you to know, as some of you were there during the 5 days, that we plan to have a generative consulting certification in spring 2021. So stay tuned. We will share with you what we know as soon as we know, because it's going to be, it's this training, this generative consulting certification has only happened once in California in 2018. And now we're moving towards a more open and probably online version of that certification. And please stay tuned if you want to know more and if you want to become the generative change you want to see in the world. So any question came up during the...
I have a question, because I think there's a book, and as I understand, Elisabeth, there's also a training for the Periseo tool.
Right.
Yes, thank you. But yes, there will be a training in both French and in English in November and December. And yes, we have a book for the Periseo team profile.
And it's in both English and French?
In both English and French, yes.
Yeah. Any other questions you may have around transition management, generative consulting, or anything you want to share around your own experience of multiple intelligences or the use of the Periseo tool?
One question I had for Elisabeth about the project in French Guyana is, so what were some of the results of the program that you did?
I think the main result in this very specific social context, because it was very, very difficult and very conflictual, is that people started to reinforce themselves as individuals. So it's really what we like to speak about and to realize is that in collective intelligence allows people to reinforce themselves as individuals, because the situation is always very, very, very difficult, and even more after this COVID crisis. But people feel less lost as human beings. And they started to how can I say, to connect to each other, because they didn't have the same identity. So now they have the feeling of the same identity. They share a vision. The leadership team, the direction committee is, how can I say, it's a real team. And before there were conflicts inside them. And they feel more comfortable and maybe a little more confident in these times of transition. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions that you'd like to share? And if you don't, then as we have 21 people and we are closing this full week online launch, may I just ask that you share with us in the chat box maybe 1 or 2 words that really summarize or synthesize what you felt, even for not just today, but maybe for the 5, 3, 2 sessions that you attended. What would be 1, 2, or 3 words that would really be the summary of your week with us? On Monday, it was the whole team that was with you. On Tuesday, it was Robert and Catherine on the diamond model and the meta structure of generative consulting. Colette on Wednesday with the passion and the circle of success. Catherine says complete approach. Thank you. Yesterday we had Mickey with that vision with John, his case study, and today we have transition with multiple intelligences. We have Jehan saying inspired, enlightened. We have Robert, impressive and practical. We have Lex saying bought the book. Thank you for that. Anything else you'd like to share? Because some of our members tonight can't be here, but we would like to share these words with them. So there's a feedback loop that we are closing tonight. Wisdom from Juliana. Nikki, not enough. That's a good frustration. Elena says very generative. Edith, inspire. Dehan, excited about the book. Yeah. Robert, grateful. Yeah, and this is also the moment to thank Robert for this amazing inspiration that he shares, and the amazing opportunity he gave to us to be part of that.
Maybe can you share your screen, Jean-Francois, in order we see each other, please?
Yeah. You can just turn your camera on so we can see you again. So Edith says, generativity, Jan, looking forward for the future training on the topic as well. Thank you very much. Our pleasure. Thank you for being here with us tonight. I know it's Friday night, and thank you. Thank you for welcoming us home and being able to share that with you. Elisabeth, anything you want to say? Robert, anything you want to say as a conclusion for this week? And for this
to see you in April and before, of course. And it was a real pleasure. Thank you.
Well, for me, just amazing and awesome. I feel I have the best leadership team ever, and each one is so competent, big-hearted, wise. I feel very, very proud and very grateful and honored to have so much support, and it's also the practical examples that you've given and shown how you really made a difference in the lives of people from all over different companies and all over the world. I'm really just very, very pleased and very grateful.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, we have a new participants. So looking forward.
And we're from all over. Just when you just look at the screen, you have to realize you're seeing people from everywhere, from Iran and Jordan, and from Israel, and from Netherlands, and from France, and from Russia. I mean, it's just amazing. Just amazing.
And from Canada.
And from Canada.
From Canada. Wow.
And from Peru.
And from Peru.
Wow.
My gosh.
We even have
Guadeloupe.
And Guadeloupe. Wow.
Hi, Nikki.
Hi,
I wish that the real life will be really like, it is a real life, but will be like this for all over the world, that we can all be together. It doesn't matter from where you are, and we can do it here. Why we can do it all over the world. I really wish this for all of us here.
Yeah.
It's a process. So everybody, take care and see you at the IGC conference or at the Generative Consulting certification. Thank you all for being here, and see you soon.
Thank you.
And thank you for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. You take care. Have a nice weekend.
You too.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Thank you, Paul.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.